YouTube. So today I'm going to talk about two of my favorite things, TV shows and books. I thought I can recommend you guys some of the underrated TV shows and books. So there's going to be no Game of Thrones on the list. I mean, we're all in the web, aren't we? Recommendations are in no particular order, so let's get into it. First we have Scream. Scream is your typical slasher show where there's a psychotic killer trying to kill a bunch of teenagers and the remaining surviving teenagers are trying to figure out who the killer is. Scream has some wonderful soundtracks though. Go and watch it. Next we have The 100. Now I feel The 100 is what most of you guys will like because it's mainly about this dystopian world where it's in future, kinda sci-fi, not sci-fi but mainly in the dystopian category. Nuclear radiation wipes out the entire population of Earth. Well, not entire population, most of it. The remaining survivors go into space and build this thing called the Ark in which they are living right now. So it's been 97 years now. So these people in Ark is thinking that, it's been 97 years, let's see if we can go and stay in Earth right now. So they send this 100 teenagers down to Earth. Good pun. These 100 teenagers are basically criminals. So even if they die, the Ark won't give a shit. So these people get down on Earth. Everything seems normal until shit starts happening. So go and give it a watch. Third on the list we have Hannibal. For those of you who don't know who Dr. Hannibal Lecter is, he's basically a cannibal who kills people and then eats them. I know. The Hannibal movies starts with Detective Will Graham realizing that Dr. Hannibal Lecter is the serial killer and gets him arrested. But in the show, we see the events leading up to Dr. Lecter's arrest and the relationship between Will Graham and Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Detective Will Graham has a very unique ability of empathizing with killers. He knows how a serial killer's minds work, why is that serial killer killing the person, and how they're killing it. To keep the detective on the same side, he is assigned to a psychiatrist. But whenever he feels like he is going out of the boundary, he can talk to someone professional. And guess who's going to treat him? Dr. Hannibal Lecter. If that doesn't interest you, I don't know what will. The show is very intense with very graphic imageries. So if you are not into that kind of shows, please don't watch it. I don't recommend it. Number 4 is Gotham. Now I'm pretty sure everyone out there knows what Gotham is. But again, for those of you who just joined the internet, Gotham is the city that Batman sworn to protect. The show starts off with Batman, aka Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed and Detective Jim Gordon trying to figure out who the killer is. We also see a lot of backstories of different villains. I love backstories. So if you love backstories as well and you really want to know how Riddler became the Riddler or what exactly happened in those childhood years of Batman, definitely go and watch it. Number 5 is actually a mini-series. The show is called The Night Of. The premise reads that a guy, after partying with this girl, wakes up to find the girl stabbed beside him. The police obviously suspects him, but he says he didn't do it. But there's a catch. He doesn't remember much of the last night. So he might have done it, might not have done it. To find out, you'll have to watch the show. So that was my underrated shows recommendation. I hope you all enjoyed it and let's get into the books now. So the first book I have is The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. Now this book is about this guy named Ezra who gets into this car accident and then things start changing around him. Like people start behaving differently towards him, his girlfriend cheats on him. That's not a spoiler by the way, it's given in the synopsis. He also meets a new girl named Cassidy Thorpe that he's really attracted to and it's amazing. The characters are really good and the conversation between two characters are really, really smart. So I recommend it strongly. The second book is Horns by Joe Hill. Now I'm pretty sure most of you know Horns because as you can see, it's Daniel Radcliffe. His girlfriend Marin is brutally killed and exactly a year later on the same day this guy wakes up to find horns growing out of his head. this horn also gives him new powers. With help of these powers, he's going to uncover the truth and who exactly murdered his girlfriend. Again, very good book. 5 on 5. The third book I have is Tell Me Your Dreams by Sidney Sheldon. I'm just going to read out the synopsis for you guys. Someone was following her. She had read about stalkers, but they belonged in a different, faraway world. She had no idea who it could be, who would want to harm her. She was trying desperately not to panic. But lately her sleep had been filled with nightmares, and she had awakened each morning with a feeling of impending doom. Stalker, don't know what's happening, paranoia, just great stuff. Give it a read. The fourth book that I'm going to speak about, I don't really have the physical copy with me. The book's name is The Pledge by Kimberly Durting. It's a dystopian book. It's set in this world that divides people into classes according to their languages. So upper class speaks a different language, then the middle class different language, and it goes on like that. So there's this girl named Charlena, and she understands and speaks all the languages, and that's a secret because you're from a different class, you're only supposed to know your language. Then she meets this guy named Max in this underground place. As usual, this has to be the love story in the YA genre, so she's attracted to this mysterious guy. So give it a read to find out why she can't understand the language he's speaking and who he is exactly. The fifth book that I have is not exactly a book, it's more of a short story. I just had to include it because it's Gillian Flynn. It's Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, and it's the short story that she had written along with other short stories by different authors, but the publishers decided they're going to publish it as a book. It's 60 pages long, great stuff. It's about the psychic who goes to this house to see if the house is haunted or not. And let me tell you, that's just the premise. Please read it. As you all are going to find out very soon that I'm a huge fan of Gillian Flynn. She writes amazing. I mean, if you haven't read Gone Girl, please go and read that. Anyway, so this is, I feel, it's more of her underrated work, and it deserves so much more audience that it already has. So yeah, read it. So that was my underrated shows and book recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. So, yeah.